Breaking news right now. You are watching Fox 11 as we follow this pursuit of a stolen vehicle. LAPD on the scene pursuing the silver-colored sedan, it looks like right here on 7th Street in Koreatown, making its way through the buildings right there. You'll see the sedan that is in pursuit right now pop up soon as we get an aerial view from Skyfox overseeing. Again, this is Wilshire Boulevard and Normandy in the Koreatown area. LAPD wanting this suspect and this vehicle. It is stolen, so that is how this pursuit started. Right now, we're not seeing erratic driving at this point. Of course, we're checking the speeds right here. All we've seen is this vehicle and the driver reaching speeds roughly following the speed limit, as we see right there, about 30 miles per hour on these residential streets within the city, stopping at intersections like you see right there, but clearly trying to navigate its way around traffic in the Koreatown area. Again, this is the pursuit of a stolen vehicle. This is an unsafe area right now to do any kind of pit maneuver. We don't see any black and whites from our vantage point up in Skyfox at this point. But what we do know, the original want for this pursuit and why. Big everyone is safe before the storms head our way. But right now, before the rain happens, again, police following this silver-colored sedan here in the Koreatown of how this driver is driving, obeying the laws right here, getting stuck in a little traffic, not erratic driving, which is the good thing, and not high speed. So clearly anything can change when we follow a pursuit like this. But here's the driver making a right-hand turn. And at some point, as we navigate through the buildings in Koreatown, we will get eyes again on this silver color sedan. We are working to get more information as to, again, the original want of this being a stolen vehicle, but also as to any other circumstances that may be surrounding this pursuit here in Koreatown. It started at least 15 minutes ago, as far as we know, and again, trying to get more information as to possibly any type of background that LAPD rather will have on this driver or the circumstances surrounding the stolen vehicle. But there you see it, the silver color sedan, thankfully not driving on the wrong side of the street, not blowing red lights or stop signs at this point, not speeding. So clearly it's the good thing for the public in terms of making sure that things are safe out there on the street. But again, we don't know the mental capacity of the driver or what kind of situation law enforcement is dealing with right now. Let's bring in Dennis Zine, who could tell us a little bit about what we're looking at so far, if you got your eye also on these aerial shots. Mr. Zine, about over Koreatown as we're watching from Skyfox. What can you tell us?
Well, I just tuned in. Obviously, it's not a pursuit. It appears to be a following. I haven't been briefed on what they are looking at this violator for. If you could brief me on that, I hope. get me acclimated to what's
I know
going
you
on.
have a lot of law enforcement background, so we appreciate your expertise in this and bringing you in right now. But what we originally heard is that law enforcement officials are concerned and following this silver-colored sedan because apparently it is a stolen vehicle. Now, at what point does it go into, okay, we're going to follow this guy or we're going to start a pursuit? I think what triggers that?
Well, what we do is want to get an air unit over as quickly as possible. So what we do, we identify it as a stolen vehicle, we get an air unit, we hold back, and then we will activate, once we get the primary or secondary unit, activate the red light, the siren, pull them over, take them into custody. But unfortunately, what oftentimes happens is a pursuit takes place. So then we've got a pursuit with multiple units, multiple agencies in many cases. If they hit the freeway, the California Highway Patrol, each situation is different. But once they identify as a stolen vehicle, that's how it begins, and then they get the resources to take the vehicle into custody and the individuals who are operating that vehicle. This obviously is not a pursuit at this time, and I don't know if they're following at a safe distance. I don't see a black and white at any point. I don't even see an air unit. So it's unusual, but it could be wanted for all types of crimes. It's not just necessarily a stolen vehicle. It could be wanted for robbery or other types of crimes. License could have been, plates could have been stolen, etc. Many different factors. But what they want to do is get additional units before they initiate the stop, because oftentimes when you hit the red lights, they take off and now the pursuit's on. So you always want to have a backup when you're in pursuit.
Right. At this point, as we're watching right here, Dennis, it doesn't look like the driver even knows that there's eyes on him or her, and which might be the good thing, because we're not seeing that erratic driving that is so detrimental to the public safety out there.
Well, the concern is public safety. The ultimate is you want to make sure that innocent people are not involved, not injured. We try to avoid collisions, etc. These high-speed pursuits oftentimes are obviously very dangerous to the general public. I can see a black and white in the frame now coming up into position. It appears to be, that might be the black and white that's going to initiate. But without a black and white behind it, it's unusual unless someone gave information. Or they might have plain vehicles. They might have undercover vehicles involved in this particular situation.
That's right.
And now we see the speed, and now we see, I think they're speeding up a bit.
That's right, and that is when it becomes a bigger concern to the threat of the public and the safety of drivers and pedestrians out there, especially in the crowded Koreatown area, and especially as people are still on the roads before this rainstorm comes our way later this evening. But it's interesting always to know from a public perspective, when we see these types of things on air, obviously, or in real life, what law enforcement officials actually know about the driver, about the vehicle. As you mentioned, it could be a bigger want. It could be a bigger situation that we know as the public. So they might have information on this driver or this vehicle before this even started.
Exactly. Now, oftentimes there's surveillance. I've worked undercover assignments, and you identify individuals. They don't know you're the police. They've done something. They may have been involved in a robbery, a burglary, all types of different crimes that are committed. And then they drive away not knowing that officer, whether an undercover in plainclothes or a uniformed officer or an individual, reported to the police, all kinds of different factors. But it seems that the driving pattern right now is getting a little more, say a little more aggressive than it was initially, just driving down the street at a very slow pace.
Yeah, as you see right there, the vehicle making a right turn, and then whenever I see someone crossing the street, a pedestrian or areas where shopping centers are involved, it's always very, you just never know what the person behind the wheel is going to do, as we know in so many of these cases and pursuits that we've seen. Luckily, we haven't seen a lot of erratic driving yet, but that always changes in many cases once they know that they're being pursued. So in terms of law enforcement, when is that decision made? Is there ever a point where sometimes we see them back off because it is too dangerous, right? Or sometimes it is necessary to continue the pursuit?
Well, it depends on the circumstances involved. But the unit, when they initially see first, you want to get an air unit. You want a control to get an air unit to respond. You want to get that air cover. That's very, very important. And that they're starting to implement drone operations within the city of Los Angeles with the LAPD. If you can get a drone up overhead, I know that yesterday was quite controversial situation downtown. Area was blocked off for a number of hours. They did use drones in that particular situation. So technology changes, but what you want to do is get an air unit. You want to get a backup unit. You want to get a pursuit. If it does take a pursuit, you want to have a backup unit, at least 2 units involved. You don't want to have a trail of cars. You need to get a supervisor involved so they'll respond. The watch commanders have TVs at the stations at all the police divisions, so you have the watch commander tune in. The supervisor would give commands. The bottom line is you want to do it as safely as possible. You want to make sure the public is safe. You want to apprehend the individual, whatever the type of crime they're suspected of. You want to make sure it's done properly. But safety is the ultimate concern for the general public, the officers, and even the individual who's fleeing the scene. There's a court system that takes place. You're innocent until proven guilty. The officers respect that. They just want to do what they need to do in a professional manner and take the people into custody. It looks like there might be some damage to the right side of that vehicle. The right front fender looks like it's damaged. So, but again, there's no black and whites involved in this. I find it unusual that there's a pursuit or they're following or something. Obviously, the air unit, the media air unit, Fox 11's overhead, Sky 11, but what about the police? Where are they? I don't see them. So I don't know how this is a pursuit with this situation. If they're pursuing, they got to be pursuing somebody. There's got to be someone behind either a plain vehicle or a black and white, police units overhead, air units overhead, coordinating with the media. There's a lot of factors that are missing on this particular situation.
Yeah, information is definitely limited right now. Dennis Zine, thank you so much as you stay with us here. But you pointed out the damage on the right side of the front and bumper, and maybe it's a hit and run that we don't know about. Maybe it's something totally different. So clearly it looked like when we did zoom into the driver's side of that vehicle, the driver was looking through the front windshield up at the sky like, hey, why? Oh, there's a black and white behind him clearly now, but it was the driver was looking up in the sky like, why is there a helicopter following me? So maybe now that this driver knows there's definitely a pursuit going on with that LAPD unit behind him, an airship overhead. We'll see what happens here. Is he pulling over? Let's take a look. Oh, he's continuing to go.
Now we see the speed.
Yeah.
The speed's increasing. So it looks like we may have a pursuit going to take place of the activation of the lights of the police vehicle, not pulling over, stopping.
Increasing speeds here, too. Again. This is a factor which will definitely impede on public safety. We're hoping that things remain safe and calm, but clearly picking up speeds here a little bit as this driver knows he is not stopping. There's a black and white behind him telling him to pull over, and now we're seeing a little bit more erratic driving.
Yes, now we see it, and there should be a backup unit behind that black and white. I don't see that yet, but there will be a secondary unit that will approach.
And you never know what happens in these cases. I know just the other day we were following a pursuit which lasted for hours, starting in the Moral Park area and then ended in Mexico. So you just don't know the mentality of the driver behind the wheel, what their aim is, what they're running from, what they're running for. It's just every single time we get put in this situation is very different. And oh, look at here, tight squeeze through that space.
See, now we know from the driving pattern, as you see driving down the two-way left turn lane, the center lane, they definitely know that police are following. They're definitely trying to do something to evade. There we go. Now you can see the movement taking place. Now they're becoming very aggressive in the movement. So obviously they know the police are behind. The speed's accelerating. The driving patterns are accelerating. They're obviously on the run. We can see now, compared to what we initially saw, that they are currently on the run, and the unit will be behind. And I'm sure there should be additional units getting there momentarily.
Right, this started about 30 minutes ago from our information that we have right now, and it was in the Koreatown area when we picked up on it. Now in the mid-city area, the driver definitely knowing that police are in pursuit of this driver, and then now we're seeing that erratic driving. But here he's on a clear path right here with no traffic ahead of him, so those speeds really picking up on a residential area.
You can see the different driving pattern from when it initially began to where we are now. We could see how it's definitely changed, much more aggressive on behalf of that. And I'm still looking for a backup unit for the black and white, because we've got one black and white behind, and there should be a secondary black and white behind that vehicle.
Right, that is definitely police protocol, right? You never go into a situation like this as law enforcement without the proper protocol in place, right? As you were mentioning, at least 2 units as backup?
At least 2 units. Sometimes you have more, depending on the circumstances, but normally 2 units. You have the primary, then the backup, and then there'll be a supervisor, and then you've got, obviously, the area unit overhead. In this particular case, we see the police car a distance back, a distance behind. It was quite a bit behind now. This is definitely strange. Oh, the police vehicle's on the other side of that barrier.
Yeah.
On the left side of that barrier.
We don't normally see this, but, pushing traffic right there, and that is obviously a big concern to public safety when you have a driver like this on residential streets, off the freeway, driving in this manner, and obviously desperate to get away from authorities. But you just also, when you look at this, it's not like the movies. It's not like a unit can just roll up and pit this person, right, and smash into this vehicle or throw spike strips so easily. There are protocols in place to make sure it's safe, not only for the public, for even the suspect, but also for law enforcement.
Well, exactly. There's a lot of factors. When you're on a pursuit and you're the primary unit, you want to keep track of that vehicle. Your driver, your passenger officers are doing the broadcasting, and you're operating the vehicle. Then you got the backup, then you got the supervisor. There's a lot of factors taking place. Then you got the air unit that is monitoring on if you lose the vehicle. The air unit hopefully will give the information, the location of the vehicle, because oftentimes they're driving at an excessive speed. The police units have to do something that's reasonable. The last thing they want to do is innocent individual get involved in a collision with someone like that. So this we see totally different from when we first started. You look at the driving pattern now, they are definitely speeding, changing lanes, making different moves at an aggressive manner to get away. And it wouldn't surprise me if it ends up in a collision just because of that driving pattern that they're going through now compared to what it was initially. It was very, very slow before. But they're weaving in and out, and we're going to see something take place. We need to get a secondary unit in behind that initial police car, and I don't see where that police car is now. But again, we've got air units overhead, and I'm sure that they're going to continue monitoring this, and it'd be nice to know what they're wanted for. But there's definitely this person, driver of this vehicle, is trying to flee the scene from whatever they did, whatever they're suspected of doing.
Oh boy, now driving on the opposite side of the road right there to get away from traffic. Now in the Beverly Hills area, this all started as a stolen vehicle report, and that is why the initial information went out there, and that's why they were following this vehicle for quite some time. But now it is a full-on pursuit with law enforcement officials following and pursuing this vehicle. But as we've indicated, as we've watched for about 30 minutes now, you see the driving patterns getting more and more erratic with higher speeds and dangerous driving going on the opposite side of the road. And clearly the speeds picking up here, Dennis.
Well, you're looking at over 50 miles per hour at times. That's definitely a commuter area. That speed is obviously very dangerous. In that particular case, you just passed a crosswalk where a pedestrian was crossing the street. This person is definitely trying to get away. There's no question about it now. They're definitely trying to elude the police.
Right, and now stuck in traffic right here. This is Olympic Boulevard at Reeves Drive in Beverly Hills, and that vehicle weaving through traffic, trying to get away. This is always a scary situation. You will see there, it's a 25-mile-per-hour zone. The driver is going 50 miles per hour, double the speed limit. This is, again, residential. A lot of pedestrians in the area, too. A lot of vehicle traffic traffic. A lot of people on the roads actually right now at this hour because a lot of families trying to get things done before the rain is coming. So unfortunately, there's more traffic on the roads than anticipated. But clearly, you never know if this driver, the suspect, knows their way around. They're trying to get somewhere that they're familiar with or not. And at this point, we don't even know if there's anyone else in that vehicle. From what we can tell, we don't know.
Right. And now they're in Beverly Hills. So Beverly Hills has a lot of narrow streets. They have a lot of police officers that police that city. They're a very, very aggressive police agency, the Beverly Hills Police Department. And as I understand, we're now in Beverly Hills, jurisdiction of the city of Beverly Hills. And just went right through that stop sign. So the driving pattern is indicative of someone who's on the run. They're on the run. Stolen vehicle has been reported. Where LAPD is, they were behind initially on Olympic Boulevard. I don't know where they are now. They think it was Olympic Boulevard. And now it looks like they might be going up to Santa Monica Boulevard or Sunset Boulevard or Wilshire Boulevard. They're definitely in the boundaries of Beverly Hills.
And it looks like this person knows where they're going because we just witnessed a U-turn right there. And then we saw another black and white behind this vehicle that's wanted because of a stolen vehicle report that came in regarding the silver color sedan that we're watching right now. So it's very interesting, as you mentioned, because sometimes you do see law enforcement, a black and white behind this vehicle, and then sometimes not. So we just don't know in terms of the information that we have, and we're hoping to get more information on this. But again, the threat to the public is a concern because of the erratic driving.
I think we are on Wilshire, if I'm not mistaken. We might be on Wilshire Boulevard in the city of Beverly Hills.
It's an iconic, yes, iconic thoroughfare, as you see right there. Yeah, it's very recognizable here in Beverly Hills. And as you mentioned, oh, look at that. A lot of people walking. Oh, that just scares me because the erratic type of driving that we're seeing and disregard for some of the traffic laws right there can make it a very dangerous situation for pedestrians and for other people on the road in that Beverly Hills area.
This is definitely interesting now. Pedestrians crossing the road and the driver continuing. Whatever they're wanted for, they're definitely trying to get away. There's no question about that. And I don't see behind, but I'm sure Beverly Hills will be involved in it by now. As communication will be notifying them of the changing pursuit. Again, they have additional units that could intervene. They'll go back into the city of L.A. once they pass Wilshire Boulevard. They'll join back into the city of Los Angeles in the West Los Angeles division, and that'll continue in a westerly direction.
Right. It's looking like the driver is making its way through Beverly Hills towards the west side, as you were mentioning, but concerning in terms of the driving that we're seeing with high rates of speed sometimes on the commuter roads, as well as, look, trying to squeeze through traffic right here in a very unsafe manner.
Yeah, weaving through over the double yellows. It's very interesting how this is going, but the only damage I see in the vehicle is on the right front fender. Somehow that was damaged. I don't know exactly when, but there's obviously damage to that vehicle at that point.
Right, we are trying to get more information as to the background of all this, but the information we know as of 30 minutes ago, we do know that this vehicle was wanted in suspicion of being a stolen vehicle, and it seemed like the driver was unaware for most of the time that anyone had eyes on this vehicle, but then once the driver knew there was a black and white behind this car, as well as an airship overhead, the helicopters overhead, that's when we saw the erratic type of driving that we're noticing right now. But clearly it is unclear at this point if it is a full-on pursuit, because we are not seeing those units that we typically see behind something like this, but we don't know at this point in terms of what information law enforcement officials might have on this suspected driver or this vehicle. Oh, backing up now in traffic.
Well, there's going to be a lot of traffic now. We're coming, 3 o'clock in Wilshire Boulevard, the west side. People are leaving work, leaving school, so there'll be a lot more traffic than we saw earlier. And at this particular point, they kind of boxed in, but then I'm questioning where are the police vehicles. We know there's an air unit overhead, but kind of squeeze through here.
Yeah.
On the wrong side of the road. There we are. And, passing up those vehicles. I mean, you obviously can tell by this driving pattern that person is trying to get away, and the speed was 50-plus miles per hour. Now we've got an open stretch, but then they'll come into congestion again. Westwood, West LA is going to have a lot of traffic also as they get to that point.
Absolutely. And give me a law enforcement perspective when you see a pursuit like this, or you decide to launch a pursuit for a stolen vehicle. I mean, there's so many stolen vehicles, I'm sure, around the whole city of LA. So when do you decide to go after it or not?
Well, you want to apprehend the individual. You want to recover the vehicle for the owner of that vehicle. You want to do that, but you have to do it in a safe manner. And they will terminate a pursuit if it becomes too dangerous. And that's why you've got supervisors that are monitoring along with the watch commander. So what we are seeing now on Fox 11, the watch commanders are watching that, and the watch commander can give an order to terminate the pursuit. It just depends. But I don't see a lot of vehicles at this particular point. I don't see any law enforcement vehicles following that vehicle. Mm-hmm. So someone may have given that message. I think a vehicle was coming in on the south end. I thought there was some coming in from the south end, but I don't see any black and whites. But they do have an air unit overhead, and normally if it's a stolen vehicle, they're going to pursue that as long as possible, as long as the conditions are relatively safe. There's always danger, but it's got to be controlled and make it as safe as possible. When it gets to the point when they're doing extremely bad driving, they'll terminate the pursuit, and it's not worth injuring the general public or even the violator to get injured or worse than that, so they will terminate. It's not unusual to terminate a pursuit. When you get on the freeway, it's a different matter. Highway Patrol is very aggressive in their pursuits. Freeway's much different. But as we see now on Wilshire Boulevard, where they're doing that construction for the subway, there's a lot of construction, a lot of hazards there, and I don't see any black and whites in close proximity. And apparently Beverly Hills did not engage in this pursuit when they were notified, if they were notified, which normally is the procedure. Now it looks like back on the freeway. It's going to go on the 405 freeway, north or south. But it looks like we're getting under the freeway.
Well, now this could be a whole different game we're talking about here, as you mentioned, because now that this driver who's wanted for a stolen vehicle has entered and has gotten on the freeway right here, it could become CHP, who may be following this vehicle and may join this pursuit. We'll have to wait and see about that. But we're in the Brentwood area, 405 here with congested traffic. This driver driving along the shoulder right there, picking up speed when possible. Because of the traffic, it is a little difficult, but clearly you're worried about the safety of those drivers on the 405. As you mentioned, rush hour is just starting.
Exactly. On the shoulder of the freeway coming up northbound Ventura, and there'll be a lot of commuter traffic at a little after 3 in the afternoon. People are getting off of work. They'll be traveling. He's in the emergency portion of the freeway, the right shoulder. He or she, whomever is driving the vehicle, escaping or trying to escape. Again, there'll be air units overhead, and but no police units behind. Someone may have determined to terminate this pursuit, because I don't see anyone, LAPD, Beverly Hills, or California Patrol involved in this at all.
It's interesting, this driver has his blinkers on, hazard lights, both of them flashing in the back. And as you mentioned, there is some front-end damage to the right front bumper. But again, we don't know the background on that, how that happened, when that happened. We didn't see it on our air. Thankfully, so far, we haven't seen any other innocent bystander or driver or pedestrian being hit by all of this or being impacted by this. But clearly, this driver trying to get away from something, and clearly this is not a good situation as we approach rush hour traffic right here on the 405. Again, going to the bel-air area at this point, and traffic is seeming to pick up a little bit.
It definitely is. As you get closer to Mulholland Drive, and then you're going to be coming up to the 101 freeway, if you continue in that direction on the 405, it's just going to get more and more congested as the afternoon goes on, a little after 3, and we see the congestion now. It'll just get worse as the time goes on. And then it goes up to the 5 freeway. This depends where this person's going, but heading towards the San Fernando Valley. So Valley Bureau will be notified. But I'm questioning why the units, the black and whites, they've either terminated the pursuit or decided whatever the case may be. I don't see any black and whites involved in this at all. Nothing.
Yeah, we did see at one point a couple of units following this silver color sedan that's wanted for a stolen vehicle alert, and then nothing else, as you mentioned. So it's just interesting. As you know, we don't know what law enforcement knows or doesn't know, how they make their decisions. So as you were mentioning, sometimes it's worth it in terms of pursuing a suspect like this, or if it's too dangerous, or if there's background information that the public doesn't know, that law enforcement knows, then they make that decision. As you said, a watch commander watching closely and making those calls to make sure the public is safe in all of this. But clearly this driver knows that there are eyes on him, right? He saw the sheriff or the LAPD helicopter ahead, up above, and knows it's being pursued.
Yeah, it is. This is very strange how this is transpiring because the person's on the run at 58, 57 miles per hour and traveling back and forth. It's a very unusual situation where there's no black and whites in the vicinity close behind or relatively close behind. I don't see any black and whites. Haven't seen any in quite a while.
Yeah, so we'll see if CHP picks this up because, again, we have indicated that this person started on those residential streets. We picked it up kind of in the Koreatown area, and then this person making its way onto the freeways, which is a different scene altogether. Dennis, I was wondering if you saw the long and involved pursuit earlier this week of a driver that started in Moore Park, and I think it was a stolen vehicle initially, and then it turned out to be a female driver as well, and she drove all the way to Mexico.
Oh, across the border.
Yeah.
Across the border into Mexico. And then somehow decided to come back to America, and that took place right after that, a day later, I believe it was.
Yeah.
But that was a bizarre pursuit. But see, when you're in a pursuit, we have different maneuvers. They have the pit maneuver. They have different maneuvers. They have different spikes. They tried the spikes that didn't work. But remember, it's a stolen vehicle. You don't want to destroy that vehicle. You don't want to have that vehicle destroyed in the pursuit. So the officers were very cautious, our patrol. But to have a pursuit go that length for that long, that was probably holds one of the world records for a pursuit. And to escape and then come back to America, I think the day or the day after.
Right, turning herself in. Yeah, it was very bizarre. We were live on the air with it, and it was the first time that I saw officers try to do a pit maneuver with throwing out spike strip 3 different times on a freeway, no less.
Right.
It's very difficult. She evaded all 3 times and all 3 attempts, but it is hard to do on a freeway as well. So it's interesting the choice that law enforcement officials made to do that or to try to stop the woman, but clearly there's reasons behind it, right? After the fact, we learned that she was suffering from some mental health issues, and we never know, you know, what in the moment the driver is going through or what kind of issues they're facing, but clearly we never know until perhaps the end.
We find out, you know, days, weeks, months later, but the fact of the matter is that was one of the most bizarre, that distance and how long that pursuit ran. But what the CHP does, they have different divisions, so they would transfer from one division to the next division, to, you know, all the way down to the Mexican border, and then it stops. But I've never seen the pursuit go that length, especially with gasoline. You got to fill the vehicle up, so it must have left with a full tank.
Right.
And made it all the way to the Mexican border. So that was one of the bizarre. But as we know in Los Angeles, if it can happen, how bizarre it is, it's going to happen here. And we've seen them from one extreme to the other.
Absolutely. Each pursuit is very, very different in nature, and the conclusion also very different as well, as we know, as we've watched these for so many years. But let's hope that today we're not looking at another one of those 2-hour drives, because this person is now making its way north on the 405 through the San Fernando Valley, again, starting in the Koreatown area when we picked up on it. But hopefully this person's not going to lead us into Ventura County, right, Dennis?
And this pursuit is not being pursued. I wouldn't say it's a pursuit anymore, because there's no vehicles, there's no police vehicles, no Highway Patrol, no LAPD. No one's chasing this vehicle. If there's an air unit, a police air unit, but there's no ground units, and there were ground units at one time, but as we see, there are no ground units. So I don't know if this continues. They're traveling up the freeway, heading to northern part of Los Angeles County, maybe go to Santa Clarita. There's no telling where they're going, but they're in the carpool lane. I think there's only one occupant in the vehicle, so Highway Patrol would look at that as a violation. But the fact is, no one's chasing this car. The only one's chasing is the media's chasing air unit. If there's a law enforcement air unit overhead, and they may have abandoned. This may have just been totally abandoned for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yet the vehicle's on the run. I mean, we have an air unit overhead. I mean, Fox 11's watching, monitoring. That's why we're getting this feed. But I don't see any police vehicles of any sort doing any following.
That's right. And oftentimes when we watch something like this and the driver obviously stuck in traffic on the 405 heading north in the San Fernando Valley, we do want to remind people that if they're riding and driving on the road or walking along the street and they do see something like this happen, to not get involved in any type of pursuit like this. Don't be the hero. Don't try to trap in the car that's being pursued or driving erratically. We don't want anyone's lives or safety to be in jeopardy because of this. So that's always a good reminder for people out there who are intrigued by a police pursuit or some type of want, as we're following right here. But clearly it could be dangerous on a given notice. And so again, yeah, a good reminder to the public out there.
Because they could be armed. They could have been involved in some kind of a situation where they have a weapon. You don't want to jeopardize your safety. Law enforcement is trained to handle these situations. But and I've done a lot of pursuits for Fox 11. This is one of the most bizarre when we're following without law enforcement. I mean, it's hard to have a pursuit without law enforcement chasing someone. And that's what we see. There were initial units involved, but somehow they seem to have dropped off.
Right, so trying to get, yeah, go ahead.
They went through from L.A. to Beverly Hills to the freeway, so you would have one of three agencies, LAPD, Beverly Hills, or CHP. We don't have anyone.
That's right. It is bizarre as we try to find out more information as to why there's no police vehicle behind this car that's suspected of being stolen. So thank you, Dennis, for bearing with us, but we are, yes, trying to get more information on this. But clearly there is a reason why this vehicle is posing a threat right now, because of the erratic driving that we saw earlier and perhaps the initial want in this case being a stolen vehicle.
Right, right. So I don't know what to say except we could follow it forever and not know what's going on, but it's just it's really unusual to see something like this. Normally we see the chase, the end, the capture. There's no chase. There's just a car driving and there's no law enforcement behind. So it's very, I've never seen one to this degree, but obviously something's going on, but we haven't been informed of what's going on.
Yeah, we do know, I can tell you this, Dennis, that there is an LAPD helicopter overhead following this. So there is definitely eyes on this driver for some reason. Again, the initial information that we have is a stolen vehicle. However, what other information they have, we don't know at this point. But right now, the law enforcement officers are following and keeping eyes on this vehicle. So there is a certain reason why they continue to monitor the silver color sedan that we've been following and showing you here, now making its way northbound on the 405, Burbank Boulevard in Sherman Oaks, Encino area. Looks like getting off the freeway here. Let's see what happens. Burbank Boulevard right here, getting off the freeway. Again, we didn't see any CHP behind this vehicle, but let's see what happens.
Getting off at Ventura Boulevard on the 405?
Burbank Boulevard exit. Yes, here we go. A lot of traffic there too. We'll see if units on the ground there pick up this vehicle, as we have been watching now for more than 30 minutes, and for most of that time no real ground units following the silver color sedan, only the LAPD airship overhead.
And that wouldn't be up there unless there was some reason for that, or they'd abandon also. So It's very unusual. To what we're witnessing is extremely unusual. We have an air unit but no ground units.
Okay, we saw a ground unit right there, but no luck in terms of stopping that driver. Here we go. Now a full-on pursuit with one unit behind the silver color sedan. Let's see if they continue to pursue. Yeah. Now the speed is picking up here. Now's the erratic driving that we saw earlier.
I think that might be Highway Patrol, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's Highway Patrol.
Okay.
That is Highway Patrol. Okay, so now Highway Patrol is engaged.
CHP engaged in this. Interesting, as the driver now is in the middle lane, the turning lane, driving through traffic right there, picking up speed, and then now stuck in traffic. Wow, it was head-to-head with that one vehicle. Thankfully, no collision there, but definitely now trying to get away from officers.
So we now have Highway Patrol off the freeway, as I recall, or as I see off the freeway. Well, what happened to the Highway Patrol unit?
Yeah.
This is very strange. This is very strange.
You know, Dennis, like we were saying, right? I mean, I think we can both agree that no two pursuits are ever the same. Whether we want to call this a pursuit, a following, an interest, there's definitely interest in this vehicle, the LAPD overhead, but clearly we don't know what to label this yet, I guess. Sometimes we saw a black and white behind this car, and then now it is not. So CHP maybe let this person go at this point for whatever reason. Now we just see it going along its way on Sepulveda Boulevard at Victory.
And the CHP unit made a U-turn to follow the car, started to follow the car, and now, I mean, I've never seen it like this before.
Yeah.
This is very, very highly unusual.
It's a new one for both of us. How's that?
It is.
Yeah.
Saw the car, makes the U-turn, follows, and then stops, terminates the pursuit. Didn't even initiate a pursuit. Stopped initially. Ooh, that was it. Yeah, I've never seen anything like this. You either have it or you don't. It's just kind of like it's either going to happen or you're not, and it's in between.
Very, very
definitely
interesting.
In between a pursuit and no pursuit. And there's no other units around other than the air units you mentioned. So there's got to be something very unusual, whatever the case may be. Maybe there's someone's life in danger, and this is just part of the equation. But for whatever reason, the ground units have not engaged.
Yeah, and let's be clear here. The media doesn't make up these follows or pursuits either. It's not a media pursuit. We only follow the LAPD or a law enforcement agency when it comes to these types of things. So clearly this is not anything to do with our interest in this. There's a reason why our choppers are overhead as well, and we are following the lead of LAPD right there. So again, you're looking at this silver sedan trying to get away from what was a patrol vehicle. Oh, there's three black and whites now behind this car trying to figure out a way to stop this person. Oh, driving on the wrong side of the street.
So again, you're looking at the silver.
Yikes. Van Noen and Peach Avenue in Van Nuys now. It started in Koreatown. Yep.
Now
Here we go, full-on
view.
pursuit.
Now they're coming into view. Yeah, I've done a lot of them. I'm sure you have too, and this is the most unusual I've ever seen. But now we're going to have 3 black and whites involved, which is a primary, secondary, and most likely a supervisor.
Which is a good thing, because you say you want to work as a team, you want to work with backup. You never know what the situation is when you follow a suspect like this, right? Whether the person's armed, whether someone else is in the vehicle, what other information they have that we might not have. That really, it makes the decision-making much more difficult and more involved when it comes to something like this.
Very much so. Very much so. This is really one of the most unusual. All my years in the field, I've never seen it. You either have it or you don't. But this time it's like back and forth. Because, by the evasive driving, by the movements of this vehicle through red lights, et cetera, they're definitely there's no question they're on the run from something.
Yeah, absolutely. As we take a look at this vehicle that has a little front end damage on the right front bumper, as well as the lights in the back. Sometimes, I don't know if they're blinking right now, if the hazards are on, but we've been watching the silver color sedan for quite some time with the hazard lights on as it's making its way, or blinkers on one side or the other. So you just never know the mindset of the person behind the wheel and what they're doing and why. But clearly, we have no idea either where this person is going, because this vehicle did go onto the 405 freeway north and then now exited into the San Fernando Valley area, making its way from Burbank to now Van Nuys. So
well, the LAPD is now broadcasting this on their frequency regarding this pursuit that is now being broadcast on the police frequency. So obviously they're involved in it in the Van Nuys area. So they are broadcasting to the units.
Okay, Van Nuys PD?
Yeah, LAPD, Valley Division.
A Valley Division, that's right. And so, yeah, we just saw LAPD helicopter overhead. We know that there are units involved pursuing the silver-colored sedan right here in the Van Nuys area, making its way through traffic, weaving in and out. We've seen erratic driving, at times high rate of speed, also at times going in the wrong direction of traffic to evade traffic and patrol vehicles. So let's see what happens. We don't know in terms of if there's anyone else in the vehicle, but we do know that the driver is well aware that police officers want him to pull over, not obeying that.
It is a valid stolen. It's definitely reported as a stolen vehicle. So the reason for the pursuit is a stolen vehicle, reported stolen vehicle. So it looks like the way they're driving that they're obviously trying to get away from someone, but there's official police report on it as a stolen vehicle.
All right, stolen vehicle pursuit right here on Fox 11. You're looking at this that started more than 30 minutes ago, almost an hour at this point. We've been following this driver make its way from Koreatown, jumped onto the 405 northbound, got off Burbank Boulevard in the San Fernando Valley, and now we're at the Lake Balboa area, going through residential areas. We saw picking up speed right here, going through the middle lane, and it is a bit nerve-wracking because we do see traffic, we see pedestrians, and this is not the time of day that a pursuit like this is ever warranted because of the fact that a lot of people are on the roads at rush hour.
Extremely dangerous. A lot of traffic, a lot of commuters, people getting out of school. So the danger definitely increases. While it's still light, it is almost 3:30 in the afternoon. It's definitely a congested area with all the activities, business and schools, etc. But the vehicle continues all the way from the west side through Beverly Hills, now here in the San Fernando Valley.
Oh,
it
was really interesting as the angle, the shot was a little wider. You saw the person stuck in traffic with a car up ahead that was really blocking the lane right there. So you never know how somebody is going to respond. It could be in a very dangerous manner where we see collisions happen, or something like that where the person stopped, thankfully, and did not hit innocent bystanders or other vehicles on the road. But clearly picking up speeds right here as we watch the silver sedan go on Van Nuys Street, Shoshone Avenue, Lake Balboa here. If we can pull out and widen up our shot, it would be good to see if there are any black and whites behind this car at this point.
And those units that were in pursuit in the valley, they seem to have been dropped off. What happened to them? There were 3 of them.
Right. Oh my goodness! This is the on and off again pursuit, Dennis.
This is one of the most unusual that I've ever seen. I've been involved in a number, but nothing like this. You either catch them or you don't catch them or you lose them. But when they just kind of just let them go, I can't understand the logic behind that. But at one time there were 3 police vehicles, and then now there's none, which has been the pattern the whole time. The law enforcement's there, then they go away, then they come back.
Oh, here we go. Go. Let's see. It looks like it's turning. Well, we don't know who this white SUV belongs to that's following this person right now. Again, as we were mentioning, if this is a member of the public, please do not get involved in any pursuit that you may or may not see on the road.
That person's now pursuing. Now that person is pursuing the vehicle.
Right. And we don't know if this is an off-duty law enforcement officer or not. Hopefully not a member of the public.
Well, if you're an off-duty officer, you should not be in pursuit in your personal vehicle.
Right.
That's
right.
not part of the process. This vehicle, this white vehicle, is definitely pursuing.
Yeah, the driver in the white SUV right there is pretty mad. So pursuing this silver color sedan for unknown reasons at this point, unless they know each other, unless words were exchanged, I don't know. Has this become a pursuit now, a road rage incident? I have no idea. Clearly, this is wild. Has this become a pursuit now, a road rage incident? I have no idea. Clearly, this is wild.
This is definitely most unusual because now you've got the civilian, I believe it's a civilian, unless it's an undercover vehicle, pursuing. But normally you get a black and white. We had black and white.
Oh, here's a crash. Okay. There's two people exiting that wanted silver sedan. 3 people. Did the third person come out of the silver sedan? Or is that the person in the white SUV?
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Here we go.
Okay, there he goes. There's one. There's 2. Okay.
Okay.
Now they're chasing. He's chasing them.
Oh, here's LAPD. Oh, and that was a quick arrest.
So there's 2 abandoned the vehicle. One guy with the hoodie.
Okay.
So there's 2 that have fled the vehicle.
Wow.
And then the individual, now you jump on the fence. Whoop,
yep,
there's a black and white. Okay, now they get, where the heck have they been? Okay, we got that one in custody. Okay, there's another suspect that's ahead of this individual.
That is...
This is unusual. It's
very unusual. And what happened to that white SUV that was pursuing this car? And who is this person checking the stolen vehicle?
Now look at all the black and whites that show up.
Oh my goodness. This
so that
is
individual
wild.
in the white vehicle, that must be. Now where'd he go? Where'd the white vehicle go?
Wow. Well, here's what we do know from this pursuit we knew very little about because things were changing so fast. We didn't know the information, who was where and what. But clearly what we do know, what we can say is that it has come to an end. And the driver of that suspected stolen vehicle is in custody with officers now investigating what exactly happened, who the passengers are in this case. And now it is time to piece this all together. But what a crazy turn of events in this pursuit that wasn't really a pursuit for a long time because we didn't see any black and whites behind this suspected stolen vehicle. Dennis, I told you that no 2 are alike, right?
Never, but I think this one with the hoodie, I think that was the individual from the white vehicle that jumped out to chase the other 2 suspects that exited. This individual they have in custody now, I think that's the individual from the vehicle that was chasing the possible stolen vehicle, or the reported stolen vehicle. This is definitely a puzzle that hopefully we can solve somehow, putting the pieces together. Yeah,
it makes me feel like I'm going crazy, but I think that maybe if I'm trying to figure things out, what if this SUV and the white SUV that started pursuing the silver sedan, maybe they knew each other. Maybe they were on the phone. Who knows, right? We don't know so many things in this.
So where'd the white SUV go? SUV. That vehicle seems to have disappeared.
Yeah. I'm only laughing because this was wild. This is very crazy. A lot of unknowns in all this. But again, thankfully, an ending where nobody was hurt. And as far as we know, because we don't know a lot, but clearly...
Quite a mystery this afternoon. Quite a mystery.
Yes, and a number of suspects in custody at this point. Dennis Stein, thank you so much for joining me in this wild and bizarre pursuit that we witnessed right here play out. We do appreciate your time, and we appreciate everyone who is tuning in following this from Koreatown to Reseda. Again, we return you now to regular programming.